Hey, I'm back. It's been quite a while. I moved across the country. I don't know if any of you have ever done that, but it's pretty time consuming and not very much fun. 0 stars, would not recommend. But it's time for another Mad History Monday. Happy Monday. For those of you that know, on some Mondays now, I will do a Mad History Monday, which is me just sitting down and talking about an interesting thing that happened in history. And for my first video back, I wanted to bring you a new background. Isn't it pretty? It's kind of foggy and there's like water dripping everywhere because it snowed, but now it's warming up. I think it's like 40 degrees outside today, and that is crazy for December. But I don't know if you can hear it. It sounds really nice in person. This week we're going to get into the Christmas spirit and talk about the history of mistletoe, or rather the Kisstory of mistletoe. We're going to talk about its origins and the reason why we kiss under it, why that is a tradition. Let's get into it. So starting off, mistletoe is a parasitic evergreen plant that spreads to trees from bird droppings. It's parasitic because it lives off of its host tree, and the word mistletoe was originally formed from 2 Anglo-Saxon words. Mistle, which means dung, and tan, which means stick or branch or twig. So mistletoe essentially means dung on a stick. Isn't that romantic? So where does the tradition of kissing someone under this poop plant come from? Well, that is the puzzle that we are going to put together today. Last year I researched a lot about Christmas and where our traditions come from, and I learned a lot, and essentially the Christmas customs that most of us are used to evolved over the years from pagan traditions celebrating the winter solstice. And kissing under the mistletoe is similar in the fact that it's a tradition that has evolved over many, many years. So to understand where the tradition comes from and how it has evolved, we have to essentially put together the puzzle of history. Thousands of years ago, the Greeks used mistletoe as a cure for many things, ranging from menstrual cramps to spleen disorders. They also believed the plant to be an aphrodisiac. The Roman naturalist Pliny the Elder wrote that it could be used as a balm against poison, epilepsy, and ulcers. Experts say that mistletoe in ritual form started somewhere in the 1st century AD with the Celtic Druids. These ancient people lived in the British Isles, which we now know as Scotland and Ireland. The Druids would see this plant blooming in the trees in the winter, and so it really became a symbol of vivacity and fertility because not many other things were blooming during the harsh winters. So they practiced a ceremony known as the Ritual of Oak and Mistletoe. For this ceremony, white-clad Druids would climb a sacred oak tree and cut down the mistletoe that was growing on it, and then sacrifice 2 white bulls and use the mistletoe to cure infertility by administering it to animals and humans. Mistletoe is considered female. The oak that it grows on would be the male, and so this conveys a message of fertility and renewal born from this partnership of strength and stability, especially during the winter solstice. This is actually the ceremony that led the Romans to call the Druids barbarians. I mean, it's kind of an interesting ceremony. My fingers are getting so cold. But I mean, I guess that's my fault because I'm sitting outside in the winter in December. This is a super condensed explanation of this ritual, so if you're interested and want to learn more, I recommend it. So another piece of the puzzle comes from Norse mythology. In the Norse culture, mistletoe was a sign of love and peace because of the story about the goddess Frigg and her son, the god Baldur. who was also the son of the god Odin. When Baldur was prophesied to die, Frigg went to all of the plants and animals of the natural world to ask that they don't harm her son. However, she forgot to consult with the unassuming Mistletoe. And so the god Loki, who was a schemer, made the mistletoe into an arrow, and Baldur was killed by it. One version of the story says that Baldur was able to be resurrected, and Frigg then declared mistletoe to be a symbol of love and made a vow that mistletoe would kiss anyone who passed beneath it as long as it was never used as a weapon again. There's a few different versions of the story, but that's essentially it. The plant's association with fertility continued for many years, and by the 18th century in England, mistletoe became widely used in Christmas celebrations and as Christmas decorations. It didn't die during the winter, so it was a great option. Some believe that mistletoe would bring peace and good luck to those within the house. The part where the puzzle gets a little tricky is how mistletoe went from being a sacred plant to a Christmas decoration. But I'm assuming it evolved into this like many other traditions. But the kissing tradition of mistletoe, where if two people get caught under the mistletoe, they're supposed to kiss, seems to have started with the lower class in England before it made its way to the upper classes. It's said that men were allowed to steal a kiss from any woman that was caught underneath the mistletoe, and if she refused, it was bad luck. And another mistletoe tradition started as well, where the people caught underneath the mistletoe would pluck a single berry with each kiss, and they were to stop kissing once all the berries were gone. I had never heard this one before. There's really no definite answer of how kissing under the mistletoe turned into a tradition, but from all of these different puzzle pieces, it can be theorized that the tradition formed from all of these rituals and stories over many, many years. The kissing aspect could have came from the Norse folktale. I feel like that would make the most sense, but that's just my speculation. We don't know for sure. We can just basically guess. I don't know, what do you think? Where do you think that it came from? But now, whenever you see mistletoe around the holidays, you can think about how it came from a parasitic bird poop plant, barbarians, and a Norse god. Merry Christmas! Thank you so much for coming back and spending some time with me. I know it has been a while. I'm really going to try my hardest to get back on track and be more regular on here, but it might be a little while because I still haven't moved into my new house and settled in and all of that stuff. So remember that I always add extra reading materials or videos down in the description box if you're ever interested in learning more about the topic that we talk about on Mad History Monday. I really try to fit as much as I can into my videos, but if I put everything into it, I would be sitting here for hours, and most people's attention spans can't handle that nowadays. So those resources are there for you if you want to learn more about the topic. Also, follow me on Instagram if you haven't yet, and I hope you have a great rest of your day, and a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, and I will see you next time. Bye!